The following is a Productions original series.
Hello and welcome to Walk and Roll Live. I am Doug Vincent, joined by Addie Rich. Addie,
yes. Broadcasting
straight from Atlanta, where it's always sweater weather in her heart and sunshine in her smile.
We're here to hang out again.
We're here to hang out again.
Hi, that's what I've said. Go.
And what's your dealio?
My dealio is CP-lio. From the beginning.
There you
had
go.
CP.
How was your week?
It was good. Mother Nature is drunk over here.
Wow,
it was
going on?
in the 20s, like on Tuesday, and by yesterday it was 75. So what?
Yeah, we went from 90 to raining last week, and then this week it's been raining like 3 or 4 days straight, which, you know, when you live in California, I know people aren't going to understand this if you're living anywhere but Southern California, maybe, but you know, when you live in a place that's pretty much sunny all the time, when it rains, you can only handle it for about, you know, a day tops. Then you start kind of getting depressed. At least I do. But it looks like it's going to come. Sun's going to come back out for a couple of days, and then it's going to rain again. So we'll see how it goes. So anything exciting that you want to mention that you did?
No, I got a wild hair and decided to move my office around.
I was just going to say, I've been taking the tour of Addie's house for the last 3 or 4 weeks, you know, because for the longest time you sat in one room and your little recliner there, you're all bundled up and you do the show. And then last week I'm like, where are you? He was like, my house. And this week she's got this big room with all these, and the whole wall behind her is windows.
It's windows.
Now the lights changed. Before I couldn't see out, but now I can see, it's a bunch of, it's got a forest out there.
Yep.
Right? That's a nice view. Yeah.
I needed, as you were saying, with dark and dreary days with the winter, when it gets dark, it's dark when I get up to go to work. It's dark when I'm done, almost. Yeah. So I needed light to imbibe my soul.
So you didn't become a vampire?
As possible. Yes, exactly.
Very nice.
What about your week? How was it?
It was good. I sold my car. Got that done. Yeah, it was, we all know Forrest Kelly, who's been on our show a few times, has the best 5-minute wine podcast. His brother, who lives back east, needed a car, so he took the train out and bought the car, and he's going to drive back for the next couple 3 days. Yeah, so, and he's thrilled. You know, he drove it around a little bit when I picked him up today and turned everything over to him, and yeah, he's thrilled. He's doing, the gig work. He said this will work out perfect for him.
So that car will be great.
Yeah. Veterans Village last week was amazing. It was the busiest I've ever seen it. And we've had some busy days there, but between what we do, we give away the bread or milk and eggs every week, and then sometimes bread, sometimes soup, you heard all that. But now we're getting close to Thanksgiving, so we had hams and turkeys that we were giving out and all the usual stuff that we give out. And then we collaborate with a lot of people. So if we get something and we have an abundance of it, we'll donate it to them, some of it to them, and vice versa. So if there's another organization that gets a bunch of stuff, we must have had 5, 6, 7 different vehicles in and out that day. And a bunch of the veterans came by, so it was a wonderful day. Yeah, we were just very busy, but all doing it for the veterans is just a good day. Yeah, enjoyed it. And so I know Santa Claus. I don't want to brag or anything and name drop, but I know Santa Claus, so I've got him all set up to come and see us at Rolling Start and give away the toys to the kids at Rolling Start.
I'm so excited. I'm sad. I need a tunnel to California. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he's a great Santa Claus too. And then also found an organization that will provide turkeys for our consumers as well. So, and then we'll take care of the rest of the meal. Yeah. So good stuff this week. I feel good. All right. Well, thank you to Zarab Zarifi for joining us last week. Well, that was a different story than we've heard.
That was a different story and a touching story, and hopefully an eye-opener for more than just the two of us.
Yeah. Oh, I think so. I mean, if nothing else, what a great attitude he has. He's just isn't he just positive? He's always saying something that's positive. And with your experience, it's hard sometimes to even recognize or reconcile that somebody would be that positive after living through all of that. But
he's the flower finder in the concrete. Yeah, he is the flower in the concrete.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So today we've got Carl Vereen. I feel like I say this a lot. I've been trying to get him on, and we just, it's sometimes you don't connect with a person. You send them an email and they're busy. Maybe they don't see it, whatever. But we got him on this week, and what a surprise I'm getting. I'm thinking he's the coach of a wheelchair basketball team. Great. But, it's amazing that everything else he does, he coaches these young men and women, but he also is building some good human beings. Mm-hmm. Right? Don't you feel that way?
He's my kind of people.
Yeah.
He's my kind of people. Yeah.
You'll see what we mean when we dive into the interview right after this. All right. And first, we're going to hear a word from Agyar Professional Training.
At Agyar Professional Training, we know that your greatest asset is your team. Investing in their development, knowledge, and happiness is essential for your business's success and growth. To achieve new heights, it's important to hire intelligent, talented individuals and empower them to excel in their areas of strength and passion. Agyar is committed to transforming your employees into happier, more productive, and fulfilled individuals. When your team thrives, your business prospers. Wise leaders understand that providing team members with opportunities to shine in their strengths unlocks untapped potential. Elevate your team with Agyar Professional Training and witness the growth of your business.
From the Agyar Professional Training Studios, you're listening to Walk and Roll Live, Disability Stories.
The morning light spills across the floor. I take a deep breath and think about what's ahead. Most days I'm moving without a hitch. Sometimes my body taps me on the shoulder and says, slow it down for a while. Life is good. I've got people I love and people who love me back. I get to chase what matters and laugh until I can't breathe. Some days I pause, but I never stop. Life rolls on and I'm rolling with it.
Walk and Roll Live continues with this week's guest, Carl Vereen. He is the coach of the Rolling Cubs, which is, I guess you would say, the kind of the JV team of Team Possibilities adaptive wheelchair program.
Yes, we call it the junior varsity team. Yes.
There you go.
Very good. Well, before we get into that and learn all about them, I would like to learn a little bit about you, what your background is, where you're from, and where your interest in sports started, and how you came to be the coach of the Cubs eventually.
Well, from a background standpoint, I was born in Orlando, Florida, a little small town just outside called Eatonville, Florida, which has its own historical history. And my mom moved to California when I was a teenager. And, over time, went through school and everything. And then I have two sons, and both were active in sports. My older son played football up through high school. And my younger son, who was born with spina bifida, started playing wheelchair basketball around age 6. And he just retired, 30 some years of playing wheelchair basketball. And he said his body can't take anymore.
Going to turn it over to the kids.
Yeah. But,
right.
And we moved, as part of my job, I moved to Michigan in 1998, and the family followed me there. And my son started playing wheelchair basketball for the Sterling Heights Challengers under a lady by the name of Diane Winterstein. And, as a parent, I was there, and we did all the travel and everything. And I would say about 2001, the team won the national championship.
Oh, wow.
That's
amazing.
Championship. they kind of started becoming dysfunctional. And as my job I worked for General Motors in HR, and my job there was basically implementing change, reorganizing businesses, implementing change, taking organizations through the change process. So I used that to help bring the team back together. And I used Who Moved My Cheese as the basic framework for that.
Right.
The kids understood it, and they bought into it, and they were, hey, where's my cheese? That type of thing. And they won their second national championship. And that was my first experience at that level, working with young people, but also using the skill set that I brought from General Motors with me. Right. And the next year, Diane asked me to join her coaching staff, and I did. And from that, we won a junior, but at that time they had a junior varsity level, and they had the varsity level. So we played at the junior varsity level that year. We won the national championship.
You're getting used to this, or?
I beg your pardon?
I say you're getting used to just win.
Yeah, pretty much so. And there, I was asked to be a member of the coaching staff for the Michigan Thunderbirds, which were a Division III team in the Detroit area. And subsequently, I ended up working with a Hall of Famer named Mo Phillips with the Detroit Diehards. And with that team, we won the national championship back in 2013. Right. So I was going to say I have 3 national championships that I've been involved in my career. So
very nice.
You must be some of the sparkle that makes it happen. I
would
absolutely. Maybe because where you go, so does a national championship.
Exactly. So when I got ready to retire, my wife and son, they wanted to move back to California. So I moved back to California, retired, and he found the Rolling Bears. And at that point, they were in transition, and Mike Horter became the coach, and he asked me to join his staff. So I had, some tenure coach with the Rolling Bears. And one of the things the Bears wanted was a junior team. They had kids coming out, but they were young kids, and they really wanted a junior team. So they asked me to put the team together, and I did. And officially, we started rostering the team in 2018. And we have ever since. And so our kids have graduated. One kid in Carter Jones plays for Arizona, and they won the national championship in college basketball this past year. And he and I have contact with him, his mother, and it's just a great story. And every time we get a chance, when he's in the area, he will stop in and talk to the kids and encourage them to, give it their best. And he'll admit, I wasn't the best player, but I made it, and I'm still there. And he's a national champion. So that just puts a smile on your face when you see stories like that.
Yeah, you got to be proud of that.
Yes.
Not only of the talent, but the leadership skills that they've learned. Under your tutelage.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. And to that point, one of the things that I try to focus on is life skills. Because in the past. I've learned that, people with disabilities or children with disabilities are basically, it's too much trouble to load the chair. It's too much trouble to do this. And so they don't get the exposure. They don't get out. But that's changed quite a bit. So within the purview of our program, we like to see kids learn how to catch an airplane, how to register at a hotel, how to go out to a dinner, how to handle just basic life needs. And the earlier they get exposed to it, the better they become as they get older. Right. And the things I'm really, really, that's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah. I'd never given that much thought that, those lessons are being learned along the way of just competing and having to travel. And you learn all those life skills. That's awesome.
Yeah. So and I've seen, quite a few of my players are adults with families and professions and children of their own. And I get phone calls, Coach Carl, what do you think about this? And I love it when it starts that way. That lets me know they're seeking some wisdom or some knowledge that I have. And it meant something to them then. And over my tenure, my life as a coach, we've kind of developed an informal book called Coach Carl's Life Lessons.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And they all refer to it, Coach Carl's, and I give them numbers randomly, Coach Carl's Life Lesson 330.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Get a kick of it. So I really enjoy that. And like I said, when I get a phone call from one of my former players, whether he's a coach I have one who's an assistant coach at Edinburgh University, and one is a coach for a junior high school able-bodied basketball team. So when I see that, it lets me know that something I may have done or said had some impact on them. And, but the credit goes to the parent and the athlete for, having the initiative and the wherewithal to put the effort in.
Yeah.
So I give it there.
And so many of those skills are that you learn on the basketball court and through your mentorship are transferable to other parts of their lives and their personal relationships, their careers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's character building and routine building and all those things. I taught, if people listened before, I taught middle school in the inner city here in Atlanta. And the classroom was my box, but I was more, concerned with teaching them life skills because they're going to leave my classroom. They're only there 1 hour a day, for 9 months of a year, right? But I want them to be able to fill out a job application, make themselves some food. I want, similar to you, it is the coaches and the teachers that pour that extra in that create the humans that enter the world. So
Absolutely. So I take great pleasure in seeing those types of things develop and getting the feedback, not only from the athletes, the kids, but their parents. Yeah. I'll get a random, Coach Carl, how's everything in California? That type of thing. Or, hey, we were just on the same cruise you were on. That, it's just great. Those relationships are established and, from shared experiences. And I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. And the bigger picture, I think all of society benefits.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
All
From
of society
those.
loves it.
Yes.
Yeah.
How old are the kids that you're typically working with? I mean, obviously, over your lifetime of being a coach, you've dealt with all ages, but
yes,
we're talking about the Cubs.
My current group is the youngest is 13 and the oldest is 17.
Okay.
So they're in 13 to 17, and like I said, I'm looking for additional athletes who want to play competitive wheelchair basketball, and there are opportunities out there. I mean, more and more colleges are starting to offer scholarships to play ball. University of Michigan being one, and quite a few universities are offering it as a scholarship sports program.
That's amazing.
And I'd love to see our kids, get involved in it. And, being involved in wheelchair sports for 21 years now, I've come to develop relationships with coaches and program administrators across the country. So we talk, do you have a kid that might be interested in coming up here? There's a young man up in Washington right now who played basketball with 3 of my players at Southwest Minnesota, and he moved out here. And one of my players, they call Coach Carl. He can help you, and we've been sending players up his way. Now at least exposing them to his program. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
and it is growing. So it's good to see that. It's really good to see that. So
it's interesting because you hear all the time in professional sports that there's coaches from say the 80s, 70s, 80s who now some of their players have gone on to be coaches, and they talk about being in the wall system or something like that. Sounds like there's a Vereen system kind of out there.
Well, it definitely is.
Yeah.
It definitely is. I had one player go home one night and said, told his parents, guess what he had us do? And mom said, what? He had us lay on these mats and he played this weird music and turned out the lights. I was teaching them how to meditate.
Yeah, but that's a huge life skill, right? Like, that's so awesome. And you have like the 13 to 17.
Yes.
So that's like that period where, it's A, everybody's impressionable, but B, they might not feel like they fit so well because their body's weird and they're a teenager and all these things. So that's the time where you got to kind of grab them and be like, no, look at life this way, because
exactly.
That's a lot of the time where kids say, you know what, I don't want to do this crap. I don't want to grow up, or I don't want to be, because they need people like you.
Yeah. Well, I keep trying, and I keep trying to put more. But when I think I'm bored, I come up with something else. So this is another chapter that we're going through now on how to better promote the team and attract people who are interested. So I'm knocking on doors and answering all phone calls and emails, any opportunity we have. And like I said, having one parent come on board, and there are two others that are involved now who have the skills to deal with social media and TikTok and all that. And it's just been great to see the videos that she does every week and post them on our Instagram page.
Awesome. I can't wait to follow you.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like, oh, hold on. I go press all the buttons.
Yeah, exactly. One of the other things that's happened too is through Loma Linda, we've had great support. There's a lady by the name of, she was a social worker named Toya Green. She's now moved to a different assignment, but she was kind of my main source of players when she was with the Spina Bifida Clinic at Loma Linda. And now we have a medical intern by the name of Danielle Hansen, who's going through her 4-year residency. And she sent me an email. I'd like to get involved in wheelchair basketball. She was a basketball player, able-bodied basketball player in college. And she's been a great add, but she's also a voice within Loma Linda for us. With meeting with the doctors and department heads and getting the word out. So, that's been another ad this season that's I think is going to help us out quite a bit.
We'll have to get you connected with Rolling Start as well.
Okay.
We have a wheelchair support group, and, it's of all ages at this point, but we have a few people that definitely are interested in athletics. And maybe we'll have you come and be a speaker at our wheelchair support group.
I would love the opportunity.
Yeah.
He's signing you up.
Yep.
Carl, you have an assignment. Welcome.
Yeah, I would love the opportunity because I know the kids are out there. I just got to find them.
Yeah.
And make them aware of what this opportunity could mean to them. One, camaraderie, friendship, travel, higher education if they choose to do so. All those things are available to them just through wheelchair basketball.
Yeah. And Addie will attest to this. We seem to be talking a lot lately about being a part of your community, and not being isolated and uniquely, if you can be a part of this community, there's so many things that you share with one another that you're not going to get in the community at large. That's fine too, but there are some real connections that are made through the shared experiences through our disabled community.
Yes, most definitely. I know my exposure, there's a young man named Rick who works at Rancho Los Amigos. He's the wheelchair basketball coach there. And a young man by the name of JT down in San Diego. And I've known them over the years, and, coming back to California, just reconnected, and we're always in touch with each other, looking at things that we can do as a collaboration. And, it's great. It's great to be back, like you said, in the community again. So
very good. And so I wanted to ask, is Rolling Cubs, is it necessarily just competition, or is there more, not more, but also a component of like recreation to learn basketball and play basketball?
Yes, there is. The team itself is a competitive team. Yeah. However, I have never, and nor will I ever, turn a kid away. And if a kid comes and he has desire to play, I will find something that he can do well. As a matter of fact, I had a young man who he had the spinal rod surgery, and as a result, he couldn't shoot a 10-foot basket, but he was a tenacious defender, and he was disappointed because he couldn't shoot a 10-foot basket. So we worked on what does he do well, and it was to the point that his own teammates didn't want to play against him. He was that much of a.
They're like, no. But that's a beautiful thing, right? Because it's showing like there's a place for you everywhere. And I mean, obviously, I think even if they don't get to play under you, the kids being exposed to you as a human, as somebody who has made them feel like there's a spot and a sparkle in life, then I'll go, some kid wants to probably watch you do the meditation. And that's okay because they need somebody who treats them just like nothing's different.
Yes, and I think this young man, he graduated from went to his graduation, graduated magna cum laude at Moreno Valley High School, and he still comes out to our practices even though he's not on the team.
Yeah.
And I see this young man becoming a coach at one day because he was one of the things about him. He was a rule guy. He knew the rules.
Yeah, he's like, I will read you the book out of my head. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm hoping he continues to stay in contact with us, and at some point I can see him being an assistant coach on the team. Honestly, yeah.
So let's talk about if people are hearing this and they're young men. Is it young men and women?
Young men and women.
Okay, good. And if they're hearing this and they're interested in doing this, what are the requirements as far as equipment they might be thinking?
Well, from National Wheelchair Basketball Association, which is our governing body, the minimum requirement is you have to have a lower extremity disability. We have kids, we have mild cases of spina bifida, but they walk with AFOs or, they some type of aid, but they do walk. And that's the only requirement from the National Wheelchair Basketball Association, that you have a lower extremity impairment.
Okay. And then what do you provide? A wheelchair basketball?
We have a few program chairs that we can try and put a person in. But one of the things that's really, really been helpful is Cody Williams and her team at Possibilities. Yeah. When they open up that scholarship program every year, I encourage my parents and my kids to apply. And I don't think we've ever been turned down.
Yeah. Good.
So the equipment we have will get them through, but there's always possibility there to help them go to the next level.
Yeah. I think that is, one of those priorities with them, from all and a lot of times they're not getting, because I work with them as well. They're not getting a lot of applications, right down to the wire. They're still saying, hey, there's still applications. We're still taking applications. So, yeah.
Hey, everybody, application.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Get them in.
I make sure my families know about it. So.
Well, and that's one of those things, right? Like when you have a child, no matter if they're able-bodied or not, like nobody comes with a manual to say like, hey, these are things that are available to you, right? So even, parents with kids with disabilities, like they're so buried under paperwork and appointments and all these things, right? So some of it's good for people like us to say, hey, there's a scholarship for that. Like you don't have to pay for that, or hey, go call these people or talk to that, because nobody knows.
Right, exactly. So I make sure that's communicated, not only the Loma Linda scholarship program, but the Challenged Athlete program, which I understand, I think it's out of San Diego. And some of our kids have been recipients of equipment from that program as well.
And Triumph Foundation, I think they're very good.
Yeah. Foundation is another one that's been helpful. So we keep reaching out.
Yeah.
We keep out.
And and then there's travel. So talk a little bit about that. Are there leagues or tournaments? How does it work?
We're in what they call the West Coast Conference, which includes San Diego, Los Angeles, with Rancho, us. There's a team in Fresno. There's a team in the Bay Area. There's a team in Sacramento. And so the junior and adult levels, we're comprised of the West Coast Conference. And their tournaments are all over. Funding is, we get funding, but we're not at the point to where, we're totally funded like Rancho, where they could just get on a plane and fly to Georgia or wherever. But we do get funding. And of course, our travel is basically tied to what level of performance. I don't want to see a kid, we get on a plane, we fly to New Jersey, and we get pummeled because we don't have the strength to play. That to me, that creates a negative taste in the kid's mouth. So I try to limit our playing to Arizona and California at this time. But as we grow and as the team grows, I would love to go to the Midwest because it's a different kind of basketball in the Midwest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's completely different than what we're accustomed to. And I know Rancho has gone to tournaments in the Midwest and come back and said, we don't play basketball. They play basketball.
That's cute.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, but there are tournaments throughout the year. Each conference has its own championship tournament in addition to just regular tournaments during the season. And then all that ends up at a national championship tournament. I think this year it's going to be in Virginia.
Okay.
And so a host city gets it for, I think, like 3 years. At least that was the rule when we were, going to extended travel. And, Texas, Oklahoma, Minnesota, Utah has a big tournament. Arizona usually has 2 every year, 360. And there's another group out of Mesa that has a tournament that we went to last year. And we plan on going again this season.
Yeah.
Neat.
And those are we can drive, those are things that we could drive to. And the parents in California are a little bit different. In Michigan, the parents would give us the kids and we get to travel, and the parents would come as by the way. Here, the parents want to drive their kids to the tournaments and they want to be there.
Yeah.
So we have accommodations for that as well, including the housing and everything. And we charge a minimal amount for that when the parents travel with the kid.
Amazing.
We talked a little earlier about, you just never know who's listening or who you get exposed to that might, really kind of get turned on by what you're doing. You would, I'm sure, accept funding if there's anybody out there that knows anybody that, it's sparking something right now listening to this conversation. And maybe you think about somebody that would want to fund the Rolling Cubs. Get in touch with Carl.
Yes.
Coach Carl.
We just set up a Venmo account through the Rolling Bears Athletic Association to where, any funds that come in would go to the parent group and then they would disperse it to us if it was designated for our team. Yeah. So that we put that in place this season also.
Do you get any funding from the NBA?
We don't get anything from the NBA. Yeah. One, we haven't made a connection with, the Lakers or the Clippers. In this area, but that would be great because I do know in some areas, like in Michigan, the team that I was with, it was the diehards. Now it's the Rolling Pistons, and they get funding from the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah,
and there are other teams in the United States that have an affiliation with a professional sports team. Right now, our basic funding comes from Loma Linda and IEHP.
Gotcha.
And then any fundraising that we do independent of those two. But most of our funding comes from Possibilities and IEHP.
My brother played wheelchair softball, and they were funded by the Giants. And he is a lifelong Dodger fan. So he had to put a Giants jersey on to play. That picture makes the rounds all the time.
I know that some of the professional football players, because now they have wheelchair football, and I know the Rams, and I think the Chargers at one time, but I think they may have disbanded.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, we had the team on. A number of the team members have been on.
Yes.
Yeah, and they got the bad news this year that they pulled funding. But I understand there's some conversations going that maybe it'll come back. So we're hoping.
Well, one of the big things that we happened to be a part of a tournament last May. It was put together and we participated. Is that with the Olympics coming in 28? That there's a big push to get exposure to athletics within our community and specifically wheelchair sports.
Yeah.
And a young man named Christopher, and I don't recall his last name right off the top of my head, but he's reached out to us, and we've communicated back and forth, and we actually played in that first tournament they had back in May of this year.
So they may have them as an exhibition with the hopes of getting them in as a sport.
Well, within Paralympics, wheelchair basketball is big stuff. Yeah. But the thing is getting the word out. and getting the people in the community to come in and realize that these things are available to them. Yeah. Because the only reason why we aren't getting the people, the players coming out as we hoped, is because they don't know.
Yeah.
Because there was no junior team in the Inland Empire before 2018.
So has that really kind of helped the Bears?
Yes.
In addition to your program, but yeah, right. So.
Exactly. And then some of our players will eventually, when they graduate, they will eventually move up to the Bears should they choose to stay in the area.
Yeah.
So that's another feeder group for the Bears.
And that whole scholarship thing's got to be very attractive.
Oh, it is. Right? It is.
Yeah.
It is. And, I had 2 players accepted to Arizona, but the young lady, her disability prevented her from, being able to go. But she's still in school here in the city, and we have contact with the parents and her, and we keep track of how she's going. And it's a painful disability, and that's the reason she didn't go. But she was accepted, and of course Carter did go play. He is playing for Arizona right now. Yeah.
So we've talked a little bit about your championships, your accolades on the court, but how about some of the other awards? What do those mean to you? Community Leadership Award and the David Ruback Legacy Award.
Well, the Community Leadership Award was one that I got in Detroit, and we used to have exhibition games, and we would have people either from schools or organizations come out and get in wheelchairs and play against the kids. And one of the parents worked for the judicial system in the Detroit area, and the lawyers and judges and everyone, they loved it, and they would come out and actually participate, and they recognized what we were doing within the community. So the lady that I worked with, Diane, and myself, they gave us that award. And the Ruback Award is one that it was within the National Wheelchair Basketball Association, and it's sponsored by a family who lost their child, due to the disability. But they wanted to recognize those people that were giving their time and their talents to the wheelchair basketball community. And I was totally unaware of it. And, I was called and said, we have something for you. And I was told you got this award. And it was something that was agreed on by the National Wheelchair Basketball Association's leadership. And that's how that came about. Yeah. And then the third one, what is it? The San Manuel Mission Indian Sport. Mm-hmm. That was a total surprise. Cody asked me, hey, I'd like to know a little bit about you. And I'm thinking she's doing an article. And I show up at the Christmas dinner. You were there.
Yeah.
I showed up at the Christmas dinner, and they called me on the stage and gave me this star. And I tell you, it was emotional. Yeah. It was because, when you do this, you don't do it looking for something in return. Yeah. You do it because it's what you want to give. And that's how I approach it. So, and she had a ball with that one. I got you.
It's almost a little embarrassing, isn't it?
Yeah. But I treasure it. It's in my trophy room on the shelf with other memorabilia. I treasure each and every opportunity, I got to be recognized for what I do, but never do what I do looking for recognition.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm with you.
But it's well deserved.
Yes.
It's well deserved for sure. I mean, all the time and attention you pour into children that later become bigger humans that then, would do great things in life, that, everybody has a touch.
Exactly.
And clearly your touch is important to building the humans we meet.
I'm retired, and, but I tell you this, I love doing this. I think this is adding years to my life.
Yeah.
Good.
I think retired is a lie with all the work that you do with this. You are formally retired from the money-making industry. You are not retired.
Exactly. So between wheelchair basketball and my church, my days are filled.
Good.
Exactly.
So I know this may be impossible to think of one, but is there, over the years that you've done this, is there a particular experience that really sums up just what we're just talking about, is just what you get out of helping these young men and women?
Well, there's several, but I one that comes to mind is that there was a young man, And for whatever reason, this young man had a stubborn streak. I mean, you tell him to do something and he just automatically put his arms together and protest. And so, I never knew if I was getting through to him. This is a young man who's now the head coach for the able-bodied junior high school basketball team.
Right.
And the second one was the same way. He's now an assistant coach at Edinburgh. So, I mean, you just and they call, they talk to me, and they ask me basketball questions, but they ask me people questions. How would you handle this with a particular player? And
right.
I explain, I'm kind of old school, so this is my approach. And you take that and you compare to your experience and your relationship with that player, and then you come up with the right answer on how to motivate that person or how to change that person's direction by helping them achieve something that's important to them. So, I tell you, Doug, there's stories, I mean, endless stories of successes where you just didn't think you were getting through. And then later you get a phone call or you see an article or something about this particular individual is now doing this. And
right.
It's amazing. It is amazing.
Right.
Their
face said no, but their accomplishment later said yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You learn that, like, being a middle school teacher, it's the most bratty, like, staunch people who are like, no, I'm never going to do this. And then, see them 10 years later and they're like, oh my God, remember when you told us to do that? That was my favorite. And you're like,
exactly.
What?
You acted like it was the worst thing that ever happened to you, but cool.
Exactly. So, I've had all kinds of experiences. Even I remember we were in a tournament in Houston, and we took the kids to breakfast, and they were sitting there, and an elderly gentleman came over to me and Diane, and he gave us $100 bill. He said, "I want you to put that on your team's meal, because these kids are the most well-behaved, respectful kids I've ever met." And I mean, didn't know the man from Adam, but and I always tell the kids that when the only reason some people know you is because of the uniform. So always respect it. Don't go out and do something silly that's going to draw negative attention, because it damages not only you, but your teammates and the organization that we want to keep going, to keep building and getting people experience in life skills. So that's one of the things that, I've always emphasized, the only way some people know you is through this team. So don't ever do anything that damages the name of this team. And so far, I haven't had any issues.
Yeah, that's something I'm teaching my granddaughter. She's playing soccer, and there's days when she don't feel it, and it's like, but you can't not be there for your team.
Exactly.
You have to remember it's not all about just you. You're part of a team, so you have to get out there. Yeah,
exactly. And I tell you, the relationship amongst the players on my team this year is the best I've ever seen. I mean, they're talking to each other. They even when if we have breaks, they're in a circle talking about what they're going to do. And as a coach, that's what you want to see. You want to see them, interacting with each other. You want to see them making decisions, in competition with, as part of a team. You don't want anybody to be selfish and, be a ball hog or something like that. If there's a player on your team that's open, give it to him. Yeah. It's about the team. It's not about you, and I tell you, that attitude and that vibe is running through this year's team. So I really hope that, as we go through the season, that we will accomplish a lot more than we have in the past.
Can you talk about how the adaptive sports changes lives? I know that's a big part of Possibilities philosophy, especially with kids who have come to this later in life,
right.
Born with whatever condition, but they're through some kind of an injury or a surgery or something. And they think their life is over as they had thought it was going to be, and how adaptive sports can kind of show them the light again.
Well, and that's a good point. I have two kids on my team. One was in a car accident. So he was able-bodied up until the age of 10. Mm-hmm. And he was in a horrible car accident, and it became, paralyzed below the waist. But this kid probably has the highest IQ, basketball IQ I've ever seen. and he's embraced it. But I think a lot of that is related to his family support, because they make sure he's at practice, he comes out, and and I know my own son, just his brother and I were talking the other day. I went on a vacation, and his brother came over to put gas in his car, and he said, "I never realized what he has to go through just to go to the store." I mean, you get to your car, you got to take the wheels off, put them in the car, put the chair in the car, get in the car. Then when you got to reverse that when you get to where you're going, but I tell you, adaptive sports to me kind of develop. It creates an attitude within an individual that I can, because they start seeing what they're capable of doing, even though they maybe not have, kids that are born with a disability like spina bifida versus a kid who was injured in an accident. A kid that comes up could have and I went through this with my own son, have a kind of a phobia about, even admitting that, I have spina bifida. It's cooler to say I was in a car accident, that type of thing. But, when you embrace the reality of what you're going through, he now talks to other kids with spina bifida, tell them about the challenges he had, all the things that come with that particular impairment. Yeah. And so he's now, kind of like, oh, I'm cool now, so
kids are looking up to me.
Some confidence in it.
Exactly. So he, and I know many people, he has spina bifida, and I remember there's a guy on the Die Hard, the Detroit team. He was 60 years old, and he had spina bifida. So he had a whole lifetime of experiences that he could share. And it helped my son quite a bit. It helped his confidence. It helped him manage his own personal life, because he realized that, wait a minute, this guy, he could be my dad, and he, and he's still doing it. Yeah. So I think that adaptive sports teaches, one, it creates the idea of being a part of a team. Mm-hmm. It also kind of instills the ability, the fact that you can accomplish anything you put your mind to. It may be a little more practice than the other guys, but you can do it. And I've seen that happen. I have one kid now who's just an outstanding player. I know he's going to play at the college level. But when he came, the kid wouldn't even look me in the eye or talk to me. But now his confidence, and his dad works with him on, away from the team, individually, and he comes back, and you can see that they've been working on things. But then that starts a spark with the other players, because they want to, hey, we got a guy who can lead us now. And so, leadership is also something that's learned, the ability to expand, your space to include things that you never thought you would be able to do. And I think it all comes through adaptive sports, wheelchair sports in particular. Some of my kids are doing track and field as well. So it's not just limited to basketball.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's all great to hear. Great to hear. So how can people get involved with the program? Let's get into the nuts and bolts of that. Where do they contact you and all of that good stuff?
But my phone number is on the flyer that I sent. That's 248-762-9742. And the team has this email. It's called cubscave9@gmail.com.
Well,
I can show you, we have Instagram, and we also have a Facebook page. Our Facebook page is Wheelchair Basketball Rolling Cubs.
Okay.
And Instagram is just Cubs, Rolling Cubs.
All right. And you say that's all on the flyer?
Yes, that's all on the flyer.
And I'm going to put that up on our events page. So definitely go to that, and you can get all that if you didn't get a chance to get all that. But we'll take care of that. And I guess maybe the last thing is just what's next for you and the team?
Well, right now we're looking at a tournament in Arizona in January. We're also looking to maybe have a scrimmage game one Saturday against Rancho. We would drive to Los Angeles and scrimmage against them. San Diego's not rostering a team this year, so our games are going to be limited to what we could travel to. We were invited to Fresno, but it's right during the Christmas break, and everybody's not available. So we're going to bypass that. But our next major tournament is in January in Arizona. And a couple of my kids are actually signing up to play with the adult team, which they can do. And I just think that would give them a higher level of competition and a chance to develop greater skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're looking forward to that.
Does Casa Colina have a team?
No, they don't.
No, I know they do adaptive sports too.
They were doing adaptive sports. The last conversation I had with anyone, a lady by the name of Lisa Hilborn has come back to California, and she's working at Casa Colima, but they aren't doing basketball. They're doing like track and field and other events.
Oh, good. I just have been kind of introduced to her. I just sent her an email to invite her to come on the show, so hopefully she will.
She's great lady. Yeah. Great lady. She was at Rancho when my son started playing. And we've maintained, a friendship over the years. And she was in Lakeshore, Alabama at one time, and then she came back to California. So I heard she was at Casa Colima.
Put in a good word for us.
Okay, I will do.
Okay, good. All right. Addie, you have anything else?
I mean, I'm just so excited that this is a thing, and sort of sliding back to what you were saying about the dad working with his son. I have a sneaking feeling that also parents that get their kids involved in this learn that a different way to parent their kid too, right? Because sometimes I feel like when you have a child that's disabled, you think, oh, I'm never going to do these things. They're never going to play football. I'm never going to do this or whatever. So I love that your program is giving a different way to do those things. You can be a dad who practices with his kid. You can go scream in the stands. The dream doesn't die. It just changes. Yeah. And I think that's really important for people listening of like, hey, even if you think your kid might not like this, if you've dreamed of them doing a sport and it's something you're willing to support them in, try it.
Right. And this expanding, and now they have wheelchair pickleball.
That's crazy. But yeah, I think it's cool. I'm so happy there's a you in the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I tell you, I am thrilled with this opportunity also. I've seen Doug over the years at the Christmas banquet, and I think we've only talked maybe twice, but when Lauren reached out to me, and I would love to do it. I would absolutely love to.
Awesome. Glad that you made it, and we'll see you at this year's gala.
Yes, you will.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Good deal. Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. Carl Vereen.
All right.
Each week on Walk and Roll Live, we share honest and open stories of people living with a disability.
I think it's even worse now because, they give me a roller coaster to run around town in, and I basically am just like trying to find the biggest curb to jump off of.
Right. You're like, I know I can return myself from hard things, so I'm going to pay.
Join us weekly for another powerful episode. Walk and Roll Live, wherever you get your podcasts. Life Limitless. Subscribe now.
From the UGG Professional Training Studios, you're listening to Walk and Roll Live, Disability Stories.
Walk and Roll Live, where we're learning that you can have 150 favorites. We just fall in love with every guest.
I love our time with Carl. There's no one that I'm like, that was a waste of time. Never. But there are specific people that I am like, okay, we could have been friends. And we are now friends because the universe brought us together. I could definitely, though, see me in my 7th grade teachering, and Carl is the basketball coach, and we're just not allowing these children to fall through the cracks. So knowing that there is someone who has dedicated so much of their time and life to making that happen is amazing.
I feel like a little bit like maybe we're doing something right because there were so many people that he knew that we also know.
Exactly.
So we got the same mindset, right?
Yeah. For
so
sure.
Thank you for coming on, bud. Anything big coming up this week? Thanksgiving's not too far away. What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Don't ask me yet. I don't know. Yeah. I haven't decided. I'm doing the fly. Probably going to do a Friendsgiving, which is what we traditionally do because, there's no family here necessarily. So family's what you make it. You bring some people in too.
Right. And that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm going to a friend's house. My daughter and her whole family, they're going to see the in-laws over in Las Vegas. So, So this year I'll go over to my buddy's house and, he treats me like family and the whole family treats me like family. So it's just not just as good, but it's great. So I'll be doing that.
We are very grateful for all the people that make us feel loved, near and far.
Maybe we'll do that next week. Let's just go through all the things that we are very grateful for.
Are thankful for.
Yeah. We could probably fill an hour, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
I can talk the paint off
between
the
the two of us. Yeah. All righty. Thank you for listening. We appreciate that. Like and subscribe and share and all those things would really help us out.
Buttons.
You know, you want to put in your 2 cents on this. We're trying to grow our community, not to shine on us, but to touch more people and help more people and be advocates for more people and all of those things and educate more people about what our lives are like, and help them understand a little bit. So any thoughts?
So help us do it. The algorithm, unfortunately, we all know, if you know anything about the digital universe nowadays, the algorithm listens to those who get engagement, and we need your engagement in order to grow.
Yeah, and you know what I like is those likes, subscribe, shares. They're all free.
They are.
Right?
It doesn't cost you anything.
No recurring payment every month where they take it out of your ATM card or whatever. Nope, absolutely free. All righty. Have a good week. I'll talk to you next week. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Doug Vincent, with Addie Rich from the Aguiar Professional Training Studio. This has been Walk and Roll Live. Disability Stories, Life Limitless.
Walk and roll life.